Hi, and congratulations on completing week 1, The World of the Historical Books, BI6625. I wanted to go through a little bit on the assignments, and as you check your grades, this will give you a little more explanation as to what I'm looking for as we move through assignments. Now, the first thing I found is that many students are having trouble with Turabian footnoting particularly, but also with Turabian bibliographies. So I am about to record in a few minutes and upload a review of how you do Turabian that I think will give students confidence as they move forward and ensure that you don't lose points, because poor formatting on Turabian can actually cost you a letter grade. And we don't want that. We don't want, little things like footnoting to impact your grade. So assignment 1-1 this week was applying history in a reflection blog. You were to explain how this week's readings on the context of the historical books have challenged or expanded your understanding of how to interpret the historical books. So this week was really from start to finish about context. What are the historical books as narrative, and how does the context, geography, understanding, position in a book, how do all of these contextual notions impact our understanding? Now, if you've already had hermeneutics, we've covered context before. So those who have had hermeneutics in the past had a bit of a head start, because I think we spent 2 weeks on it there. If not, you learned a lot very quickly. You were to answer what was new to you and how does this connect to your past, present, and prospective ministry. So for the keys to the assignment, I wanted engagement with this week's reading on how the context of the historical books have challenged or expanded your understanding of how to interpret the historical books. So what does that mean? That means that I wanted to see citations and quotations from the reading on what does it say about context. I also wanted you to use biblical examples and biblical support. I wanted you to go into Logos or other resources and use outside research on context. And then at the end, I wanted analysis and personal reflection on how this topic can be applied in your life and ministry. And you'll probably see a theme coming, understanding historical details. You're to create around a one-page handout that you could use for a Bible study or Sunday school class of young adults. So I was looking for both content and format. Here is one example where the student made it. They've got a nice view. Actually, that's not Mount Sinai. I was thinking it was Mount Sinai. But a nice mountain view talking about context, saying it's all about the details. If you look at this, it is aesthetically pleasing in that they've got some art at the top and the bottom, using a couple of different colors. We've got bold for the purpose of writing, the role, geography. So each has some content in text, but also has some bullet points that we can use on the left. Has kind of a pullout, and then they have references where you can look for other information. I think this is a really nicely done handout. Here's another one that I think is actually even better. They've been creative by turning it on its side. I know in this class we had somebody who did a trifold, and that was creative as well. Here I think context up in the upper left-hand corner, a pizza on a plate versus a pizza on the road. The context of where you are eating pizza makes a difference. We talked about original context, author's context, my context, social, religious, political, geographical. This to me is an A+ paper. It has color, it's easy to read, and yet it's packed full of great information. Discussion posts. For this week's discussion, consider how you have read, studied, or taught the historical books. And in your discussions, I was looking for a prior understanding of the historical books. Did you or didn't you know they existed? And what books are they? Use of biblical support to illustrate your conclusions. And that was more than just saying 1 Samuel, but talking about specific passages of David or others. Use of academic citations and quotes that support your thesis, both from the reading and from outside research, engagement with how to interpret the historical books and its difficulties, and then ultimately, in your conclusion, some personal reflection. I'm looking for all of that to be packed into a very short space on your post, and then perhaps using each of these components further in your ongoing engagement in discussion. We did well. Actually, grades came out fairly high so far. I'm not quite finished grading, but almost finished. But I think we can do better, especially on ongoing engagement in discussion. About 20% of the class is spending a large chunk of time reading and interacting with others, while there is a portion of the class that checked in, dropped 2 comments on Friday night or Saturday night, and then did not check back in over the course, or at least did not engage over the balance of the weekend. Grades reflected that. So I'm looking for ongoing engagement in discussion, and I feel that those who do engage over the weekend will get more out of the course than those that just make a couple of comments and move on. A couple of last thoughts. Be sure to check on the Turabian video that I'm going to post. There were some grammar issues. I tried to make some notes when I saw them, but it's a good practice to read your paper out loud. Oftentimes when you read it out loud, you're able to pick up the grammar errors, and when you look at it, you sometimes miss those. Secondly, citations. And then third on that is Bible is capitalized. Biblical is not capitalized, and Scripture is capitalized. I marked off a little bit this week for that, but I will mark off a lot more as we move through the semester. As this is a Bible class, being able to consistently capitalize Bible, I believe, is essential. And I know this is not a theology class, but I think there's something theological about not capitalizing Bible, and I think that we should be reverent to God and capitalize Bible. But a great start to the semester. On whole, the grades looked really good. I look forward to seeing what everyone comes up with as we move through. I'll be in Antigua most of the week. On Sunday, I am flying from Antigua back to Raleigh, where I'll be for the next 3 or 4 weeks. But feel free to email or call me any day but Sunday. If you do it on Sunday, then there's likely to be a several hour lag in my response time. So have a great week. Thanks for the work, and I'll talk to you soon.